coffee.
You know what makes me feel pain?
Is from my college days. It is by Lao Tzu, of course.
And focus. And ebullient.
But it was translated by
it's a cornucopia of elements,
recently
factors
discovered
in there.
Let's talk about how people react. One of the things that always amazes me is
this edition also has really beautiful block prints in it. It comes from the second outletting thing. That's where I found the top section. Just to focus, and then I'll put it back in. So a lot of these are about the ineffable and other marvelous things.
Reconstruct soldier
The ways
spaces
that can
if
be
they were
walked
like
are not
God,
the
like
eternal
something.
way. The names that can be named are not the eternal name.
And his Andrew,
The nameless.
I hate women, but I don't want to say that I hate women, but it's just the will of God,
If you want Republican, hang up with you.
I'll keep it to it too.
Now he's here. Now he's back.
that was cool of him though. At least he came up, was brief, and then he just put himself back in the audience. That was really good.
That was the best interaction with the Republican ever.
I know he's doing it for his own. He has a lot of people in his rooms usually. So when he's on, when he's in the limelight, and he has a lot to cover. I can understand that he's probably pressed because he's got so much to manage, so many people and everything. I think it's brilliant how he comes up into other people's rooms and then just gets his brand flashed very quickly and then removes himself from the stage to keep that allure and that mystery. You know what I mean?
I want to know what Andrew's mom did to Andrew to make him hate her so much.
Try to put clothespins on his balls
To make
prevent him from masturbating. Kind of weird sexual punishment.
She didn't make him pancakes that one time in 5th grade.
Doesn't he have a brother that's gay as well?
The thickens plots.
So I wonder how the mom treats that brother.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe she was really understanding of the gay brother and gave the gay brother a lot of love. But Andrew, being the little straight-laced, Republican, Nazi kid, just didn't get as much affection as the other one did.
Jawohl, Kommandant.
Why don't you love me, mother? Because we're American, you little
The
fuck.
name
But
is the
mother,
mother
I just
of
want to
myriad
kill the
creatures.
Jews.
Therefore, always be without desire in order to observe its wondrous subtleties. Always have desire so that you may observe its manifestations.
now.
Both of these derive from the same source. They have different names,
Death
but the
match.
same designation.
Change it to Andrew's mom doesn't believe in Andrew.
Did something come up with Andrew lately or something with that?
I feel like I could unpack all of
No,
these
I just
for you,
dislike the
but
guy.
maybe
I was wondering if something
interesting.
happened.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about the gay brother or not, but I've heard that been discussed.
Yeah, you can check
That would make sense.
check my PTR. He's projecting in my chat. He's also told me that he has traumatic brain injury from getting punched in the face at a party from a guy that he was hitting on. So maybe these are all response rooms to the trauma of being a closeted homosexual. Just imagine the mind of a bisexual or a homosexual who can never fulfill their orgasmic desires, but yet is wildly attracted to a crisp, hard, clean, young man's body. It must be, it must force them into the light of Christ so they can come to the truth and avoid the inevitable, gay collapse of orgasm with a man. And, never really read from the Bible or talk about the Bible, but just have these amazing Christian conversation leadership rooms, clown house heroes, real world zeros, you know how it goes. But this is the world.
I need to go have therapy. I'm off to therapy now with that monologue.
Well, some people call this app therapy and educational. Andrew rejects the idea that this is low IQ, stupid people talking about nothing every day. I think this is like Ghostbusters when they create the containment field for the jelly goblin that flies through the hotel.
Dude, you're right. Yeah, I call it ghostbusting hypnosis, yeah. That's weird that you said that, because that's exactly what I've been thinking.
But I like the roast metaphor more than the Ghostbusters. Because who doesn't like a nice summer barbecue?
I was actually thinking that same thing. I like roast better than the Ghostbusters thing, too. I was just thinking that as well.
We should start a new house called the Roast Busters.
Yeah, we were actually, right before you got here, we were just considering calling this house Roast Busters.
The Republican, you can be like the some high.
He should be like the guy that wore the bald guy that wore the beret with the handlebar mustache.
Yeah, that guy.
That's amazing, dude, that you see, you are kind of clairvoyant, because you literally just brought up in more sentences than we were talking about it earlier, but the same shit that we were just talking about, dude.
Compression within a compression. Ooh, Dr. Midas is here. He's been trying to stir the pot recently by back-channeling me things about pedophiles. Dr. Midas is a true believer.
Okay, let's keep this civil, and we gotta keep it from being like African hunting dogs on a wounded jackal, okay?
Well, it's not my fault that people on here have been filming a child. I mean, they've been doing it for a couple of months. And when I heard about it through this brother, Republic with a comedy, whatever you want to call himself, he tried to cover for it. So that's why I was asking him about it in the lecture. So do you agree that grooming children on this app, if they're known to be less than 14, or known to be 14 years old, do you agree that that's a bad thing? Telling a young man that you could be a better father than his mother.
Hello, can you hear me? Is anybody still on stage? I'm new to this app.
Look, hey bro, look.
Oh, there you are. Yes, I can hear you.
It's okay, bro. I got you.
Okay, brother.
Sí, bueno.
Can we all agree that grooming a 14-year-old on this app?
Buenas tardes. Sí, buenas tardes.
Sí, buenas tardes. Sí, ¿qué haciendo? Team
Aquí
B.
estamos trabajando duro.
Sí,
Hello, is anybody there? Hello?
Sí, yo hablo español, hermano. ¿Cómo está usted?
Oh, muy bien.
Muchas maricones.
¿Te gusta jugar con los culos?
Cuarto.
¿Te gusta jugar con los culitos de los
¿Tú
muchachitos?
soportes maricón?
¿Eres maricón? Wow.
Sí, yo soy
¿Eres maricón? Muy bien.
¿Tú soportira?
A ti te gustan los maricones, ¿ah? Pinche mariposa, tú miras.
Maricones, y sí.
Ay, no hay muchos maricones que son negritos como tú.
Con los niños pequeños, hombre.
¿A ti te gustan los niños? Es raro, ¿no? Eres
Are you talking about
eres, ¿ah?
Are you talking about Christian Midas? Are you talking about?
Sí, hermano, sí.
Okay, sí. Pero, ¿qué pasó? Con Christian.
3 meses 3 meses, hombres, you know,
3 months of what? You think guys are grooming him
trying
or
to groom a
something?
kid online. Trying to groom a kid on
Okay,
Clubhouse.
well,
At least 3 months. I caught them 2 months ago, or 2.5 months ago. Then they got caught again last week.
Okay, what were they doing to groom some? I mean, that's an accusation, so just at least back it up with something. Like, what were they doing?
I blocked that account.
Sexual innuendo and intimidation.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Shouldn't be talking about.
Has anybody ever
As
tried to
I
block
found
you, Midas?
out-
You talk about sex a lot.
As soon as I found out they were underage, which was pretty much right away, someone just told me, I'm like, block it.
Yeah, that's probably the
Block
best.
it immediately. It's a
The best way to go
personal
about it.
interest, out of self-interest, of liability to my portfolio. And knowing for Bud HIPAA, knowing I don't care where his fucking ISP is, I care where I am, and so out of pure self-interest, you just block that account. I don't know why people haven't done it en masse.
No, I salute you, Kyle. My bad for interrupting. Amen, brother. Salute you.
No, it's good. I hear what you're saying, man. I'm on a similar kind of wavelength on risk management there.
Yeah, I think, I think this is a comedy app. I am 100% convinced of it. So if there are young people on this app, that are potentially being predated upon, I mean, all I could say is just block and go back to the comedy. It's adult conversation, in my opinion, on this app, and I put everything on YouTube. So the point is, if you want to get back to the debate, I think even talking about adolescent people in a room that's not about adolescent people is also indication of stupidity. So
Well, you brought it up, brother. You brought it up.
I know, but you back channeled me. So I don't know what to tell you.
Right, but that didn't have to come into this room, right? It's in the back
I
channel.
know, but you came into the room, so now it's my public response to your back channel because I don't want to get back channels from you. I'm just saying I don't want to get back channels from you. That's all I'm saying. I really don't care, about your back channels, Dr. Midas. Excuse me, I don't care about your back channels, Dr. Midas. Don't back channel me.
Should ignore grooming and just block the child, even though the child is still being groomed by adults. That's what you said.
Listen, if he's being groomed by adults, I mean, are you going to be the super fighter that's going to go in there and save him and have, make the recordings? Or are you going to do it, Dr. Midas?
Already made the recording. So this is the part of it, right? Why is it that nobody else is really caring about it? And when somebody brings it to the forefront...
I don't know. Go on YouTube and put it on a recording and dox the people.
You said we're supposed to ignore it, right?
No, I didn't say ignore it. I said go notify the FBI. Go notify your local police department. I don't know what to tell you. Notify Clown House Customer Service and Security. Talk to the gay guy that runs the app.
Why are the adults that usually talk? Why are the adults that usually engage with this child and they hear this thing on a regular basis? Why are none of them contacting?
I don't know if all of them are predators, but I know they're all lonely and bored like you.
Can you agree that within the back channel you told me that you thought the grandmother was very sketchy and therefore you don't
super bizarre, beyond bizarre.
Right, so you don't think that he really had consent to come online, right?
She reminds me of that woman that was like imprisoning her son in the house for 20, 30 years that just broke in the news. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but that is one weird ass woman. There's a lot of weird people on this app. I mean, I think a lot of people in this room are weird, but for the most part, pretty normal.
So if that's the case, and you're not weird, you're noticing that the grandmother is sketchy, right? But the
super sketchy.
On this app, who said they contacted him on Roblox before he even came on this app, brought him from Roblox onto this app.
Hey, this is a snooze fest. Hold on, Midas. This is a snooze fest. We're talking about God, your belief in God. We understand, appreciate your crusading against pedophiles. We're all on board with that. Good for you. You get a star from everybody. Gold star from Midas. Now let's talk about Jesus and your belief in Jesus.
Wow.
I don't even know what Roblox is.
That's a great reframe. Thanks, Dr. Tim, for keeping us on track on the subject title of the room.
Matthew 18:6 of the Bible, see, Republicans brought it up. He actually brought it up just now. I didn't bring it up. He brought it up before he even came onto the stage, so I addressed it.
What's your main reason that you believe in
Matthew
Jesus?
18:6 says you're not supposed to molest a child.
Great, we got
why
that. So let's
all
talk.
these other religions have a doctrine that say you can molest a child, but not Christianity.
Let's talk about your reason why you believe in Jesus.
Brother, can you answer the question just now? I just provided.
I don't have an answer to that. I don't have an answer
to all these other doctrines.
It's possible. No, hold on. It's possible that I don't have an answer about things I don't know about. So I don't know about a lot of other religions. So I'm just asking you about yours.
You told me to defend my religion. Now you're claiming ignorance.
You didn't ask me to defend somebody else's religion. I said you believe in Jesus. Tell me why you believe in Jesus. That's good. Go with that.
So because you're scared, because you realize that atheism has nothing to back it, right?
Okay.
And also
so
that
you
all
believe.
religions,
Okay.
they advise.
You believe in Jesus because I'm scared.
Dealing with children, right? All these other religions say you should be touching kids, and touching kids is okay. Atheism says they have no concept of the age of consent. Not only that, they have no concept of creation, so I can't take them seriously, right? So why is it that all these other religions you believe have a doctrine about molesting kids?
Okay, you're just. I don't know why you're dodging the question, right? I just asked you why you believe in Jesus. You told me it's because I'm an atheist.
No, brother, still man my argument.
Because I don't believe so.
See, this is the problem, right? People want you to talk, but once you talk, they don't listen. So if you don't listen, how can you understand what I said? Can you still man my argument?
I cannot steel man your argument because I didn't understand that. I've stated twice now that I didn't.
So why are you asking me to talk? So this is what I'm telling you.
What do you mean?
Why? It's very simple. No,
I thought maybe
because you don't understand. But wait, you don't understand. You're very slow. This is what you said by your own words. You're very slow.
Okay, it's
take
possible that I might be slow. Here's what I heard you say.
Relax. It's okay. Don't get triggered.
Just hold on, or I'm going to mute you. Okay? Hold on. I asked you just a simple question. Why do you believe in Jesus? And the best I can tell, and I don't think this was right, but the best I could heard you say, that I thought I heard you say, was because you're an atheist and you don't have a way of saying that you don't like fucking children, right? And that's why you believe in Jesus, right? But I don't take that as a reason why you don't believe it.
Are you involved in that?
Exactly. That's like, Randy, did you hear about the people who they like shorted the airline stocks by buying all these puts on airline equities like the day before 9/11?
No.
There was like a shitload of like put options on airline stocks like the day before 9/11.
Amazing.
That is amazing.
According to all the other religions, because of the fact I believe in the Creator, and therefore we have to know the nature of the Creator, therefore so we can ascertain which religion is the best. The rest of the religions also have a doctrine of pedophilia. Now, according to statistics, numbers from the government, and actual psychological evaluations, molesting children destroys their life in the future. And therefore, a real God, a true God, will not ordain it. According to atheism, you have no doctrine against it. Not only that, you have no concept of the creation. According to all the other religions, you're doing something that goes against the nature of man. So therefore, that's why I picked Jesus Christ. Can you show me a reason why not? Or why
I'm going to tell you what I heard back, and you can agree with me or disagree. I heard you say that the main reason you believe in Christianity is because Christianity, specifically in Matthew, talks about that it's not okay to diddle children. And because of that, and the fact that under your view, no other religion says that. All the other religions say it's okay to diddle children. And because of that, you believe that your religion is true and that God is true because you think your religion says don't diddle kids can keep on all of your religion. Did I get this correct? I'm just like, fuck! Noisy. Yes, he is noisy. He is. I'm gonna have to stand here hurt you. Oh no. Oh yeah, we can help you like that. No, see that doesn't work. I'll leave. People get real crazy. Anyway, stop. Break it down. Do not let that maniac go to trouble. What they are. You know, one guy is on the trail thing. Who is that? You were asking about
real religion.
Well, no. That's not for you to determine.
Experimentation. Wait.
That's not for you to determine.
Wait, brother. Wait. I got it. You didn't know I know about Scientology. They've been involved in experimentation upon minors from colleges, etc., from the 2000s. That's well known. It was well documented. So therefore, we don't care about experimenting on minors.
Minors in college?
Why should I trust them on the road
of Jesus, which is Luke, pedophilia. And he got punished. Can you point to me in the religious text of Scientology that they condone pedophilia?
Scientology is not claimed to be a religious belief.
But listen, it's not for you to decide what is or is not a religion, right? They believe it's a religion. They're a 501(c)(3). They get a tax exempt from the government just like any other church does. So can you point to me where in their religious writings it says specifically that they condone childhood pedophilia?
Well, that's not my role in this discussion. I showed you.
Well, sure it was, because you said that all the other religions
Christian doctrine. Wait. This is how it works. This is how debate works, right? I showed you within the Christian doctrine, Matthew 18:6, explicit text against pedophilia. It's not up to me now to go around to every little hole in the wall and find other words against pedophilia and other ones. I don't see.
Well, sure. The problem is yes, it does. Hold on.
Similar to
that's why we specifically laid out.
Listen to the debate. Listen to the debate. Wait. Follow the logic.
No, be
Follow
quiet.
the logic. If you're positing,
be quiet for a moment. I'm gonna mute you. Right? You specifically said, and for the sake of argument, you said all other religions, not some. You said all of them condone pedophilia, and therefore yours was correct by default. You said yours was automatically correct. And then I asked you, okay, well, let's just pick a religion. So we picked one, Scientology, and I asked you to show me in their religious doctrine, in their writings, in their official writings, where they condone. You said that all the other religions. So your own argument
you don't understand the debate. You don't understand the debate. So if you want to go against Christianity with Scientology, you have to bring a suitable text that's against pedophilia, similar to Matthew 18:6. If that's what you're positing as a debate, you can't just ask me to go through the entire text and find words against pedophilia.
You said that it's already.
You said that where it doesn't condone pedophilia.
You said that all of the texts, all of the religions condone pedophilia. That's what your claim was.
The goalpost just moved.
No. I provided my evidence. Where is his evidence?
It's probably easy enough to just look up ancient texts forbidding pedophilia in religions and get a bunch of hits, right? Like, I don't want to have to do it, but this can just be done. You can just go look through antiquity, ancient texts, old mores, old codes that have been written down, looking for total abolishments of pedophilia in culture and society, and of course in worship, in religious ritual. There's tons of them.
Right. I just want to.
This is obvious, right? So we don't have to bicker about it. We could just go look up those phrases, go and find the text themselves.
But remember, Kyle, his claim was specifically that all other religions condone pedophilia, and his didn't, and that therefore made his right. Because he was saying that, and because he said that, now he took on a stronger burden of proof. The proof is that he has to prove to us that my neighbor religion has to point to me in their religion where it condones pedophilia.
Yeah, right, I know. But, I mean, just to cinch it up, to solve it, really, you would just go look at the text, I think. You just go find antiquity, find old... Just go to any region of the world and be like, what are your old texts? And then...
You can't find it, bro. It's okay.
Well, he might be able to. We have to look. We would have to go look
that's
now.
why I referenced the 1960s Scientology code. Because he had to go to something that's not even a religion and say because they have a 501(c), they're a religion. It was really bad, right? So this is the thing. When I made that statement, I already know ahead of time that he can't find it.
So what are we trying to say that we actually agree on?
Well, it seems on my side we agree that only the Christianity has a word against pedophilia, and therefore it's the only religion that conforms to human nature. And nobody's been able to refute that yet, so therefore I guess the whole panel agrees.
Well, not yet. Well, I would like to go find other religions that prohibit pedophilia. I could just be like, pedophilia prohibited in Scientology. Just type those words and see if I get some hits. Pedophilia prohibited in Jainism. Okay, I got more hits. Pedophilia prohibited in some ancient tribal system somewhere, like on an island. Oh wow, this tribe prohibits pedophilia too, and they worship some like, snake god and some turtle god and some root god, some tree god, but they still don't want pedophiles around, right? This is pretty common in anthropology, just like total abolishment of pedophilia, because it's extremely deadly.
What's the name of the religion?
Well, you just have to pick one. I mean, I guess Jainism, right? I could just start there maybe.
How about we just pick Mormonism? I ran it
sure.
Right? I asked Rock specifically. I just asked Rock specifically. I said, does Mormonism specifically condone pedophilia? It says no. Mormonism, officially known as the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, does not condone pedophilia. The church's teachings and policies explicitly condemn sexual abuse, including pedophilia, and emphasize the protection of children. The LDS Church considers sexual relations outside of marriage to be sinful, and any form of abuse, especially against children, is treated as a serious violation of its doctrine and moral standards. So there you go. Now, here's what's going to happen. He's going to shift the goalpost and say, well, they're not a religion. They're not a religion. There's only 18 million members worldwide, and they have 10,000 churches and 200 temples around the world, right? But they're not a church under his, right? So he's just going to shift away. Go ahead, shift, Midas.
Scientology policy enabled years of child sexual abuse. Lawsuit says. Third lawsuit. So, I mean, bro, I'm not sure where you're going with the Scientology stuff, but you're not really getting much help. So can you show us another religion?
Is this a prank call show or something called Longmont Potion Castle?
He would know best that it was, and he knows it.
Oh, Jesus.
Business and Scientology lawsuits allege human trafficking, forced labor, child abuse. 2019, bro. So, I mean, you don't really have anything.
Look at the Southern Baptist Convention,
Midas, did you hear what I read to you about Mormon Church? Did you hear what I read to you about the Mormon Church? Did you just pretend not? There's only 18 million.
Monstrous behavior. Lots of Southern Baptists, they're in jail, dude. They're languishing.
Like, for instance, if you read
Pastor bites the dust every day.
You could say something like
Church of Scientology accused.
So the Catholic Church, which is a fully Christian church,
youth pastor on the prison walls.
The Catholic Church would specifically doctrinate. They would reject being pedophilia, right? But yet the church has been under claims of abuse for years and paid millions and millions and millions of dollars to settle lawsuits of priests diddling children, right? So it's not whether or not there are individuals within the church that, of any church, anywhere at any time, of any Christian church, Jewish church, Muslim church, if somebody's going against what the official doctrine is, that's not going to count against the church. It's just going to count against the people that are doing it, right? So in the same way that you could point out something, from some religion about somebody that got in trouble for abusing their ecclesiastical authority and fucking children, great, go ahead. But this gentleman, Midas, made the claim that his religion was the only one that officially did not endorse pedophilia, and all the other ones explicitly did. And yet he hasn't been able to prove that. All he's done is yip
Thank
around.
You for proving it. No, you just proved it, bro. You just proved it. So the Scientology cases is based on the actual doctrine of Scientology. They said the doctrine, the policies of Scientology enabled the abuse. Whereas within Christianity, if a Catholic priest, because there's a problem, whenever you see something good, evil will always infiltrate. So you have a Catholic priest who actually is accused and convicted with proper evidence to show that it actually happened. Because a lot of stuff is fabricated, as we see with the Me Too cases.
What official policy? What official policy is going to count Scientology is written that says that it's okay to get children? You give me that.
But
You didn't
I'm
give me
almost done my
that.
sentence.
You gave me
All right,
reports
right.
of church leaders
Bro,
abusing their authority,
okay.
right?
I gave you the link.
You didn't
I gave
give
you the link
me-
where it says the
You didn't
policies
give me an
of
official
child abuse
policy.
and forced labor.
Where's the official policy
child
from Church of
abuse and forced
Scientology
labor
saying
and
that?
human trafficking.
Where is the
I gave you all
policy
that.
written
Why
down?
are
No,
you
you
cutting
didn't.
me
You
off
gave me
when
a
I'm
news
not finishing
report.
off my sentence?
Listen, fuckface, you gave me a news
You're freaking out
report.
trash. Bro, you're trash. Scientology is trash. Don't ever try to come at me with this Scientology crap because you're trash.
You can come back up when you're ready to not be a fucking retard.
So wait, I'm confused. This is the Longmont Castle Potion, Longmont Potion Castle show, right? This is like a prank show?
Yes, you're absolutely.
I just love the work you do, Honey Badger. I mean, you know, truly, you are really cultivating tremendous, you know, content. Like, you're really, you know, you're giving us the cliff notes of, you know, modern day human brain science theory.
This is a bit cringe thinking that only Christianity prohibits pedophilia because, you know, let the little ones come to me. Wait a minute, not that one.
Kyle.
Whoever does harm to these little ones, better for them to be, you know, splish-splashed in the water. Right? And so Christianity is certainly prohibiting it, but that makes it like, to my mind, there's got to be others out there that prohibit it too, right? We couldn't have made it quite pretty far if there's like a shitload of religions out there and like fuck up all the kids all the time. It's like, no, we gotta hide that shit. We gotta move this priest again. We gotta move him. Fuck, they're in like Brooklyn. Fuck, how do we move this priest, yo? Shit. You know, where do we move him? He keeps like, we have to hide it, right? It's not like this open thing where the religion wants people to know, yeah, it's cool in here, yo. We can like marry 6 14-year-old girls. Because I'm like in a cave in West Virginia somewhere or whatever. Right? You hide that shit. So there have to be other fucking religious systems and dogmas and creeds that are like, don't do it, man. We need our kids because they need to be like strong and fight for God and be indoctrinated, yes, but not like fucked up. Like, you kidding me? That's not good for anyone here. So
Makes it
like for him to say that, like, I accept fucking Jeebus Kremst simply because he was the only one that made sure that the kids don't get fucked up. And it's like, man, I'm pretty sure there's just whatever.
All hail to Gibbers Kremst. Hey, Tim, are you there? He's on the phone.
I don't know if you guys know who Longmont Potion Castle is, but he's like a prank recorder who you could call it absurdist comedy, where he in the 80s he would prank call people continuously, driving them crazy, and he would record them having, you know, mental health, emotional, you know, breakdowns. And it's kind of sad because you hear people, you know, in their, you know, loneliness and desperation responding to a prank call. So I just get the feeling this is technically, not only is it a roast, I'm going to reframe it all and just say this app is technically a prank call. But that's technically what a roast is, because it's like people, you know, I don't know, I just think of that Johnny Carson roast. Or have you ever seen the Trump roast? Like, Comedy Central put together all these roasts that, you know, that's what this is. It's like people getting up on stage and giving a roast, whether it's of themselves, of other people, or a combination of both. I'm a self-deprecating comedian, and, you know, I just think that a lot of the people on here who declare all or nothing statements about their religion, they are not willing to admit that they're actually comedians. And, you know, part of their mental neurotic dilemma is that they take themselves so seriously, they can't actually be self-deprecating to see the wisdom in playing the fool. And I'm just saying that it's kind of like show business or comedy in the sense that if your publishing is this all or nothing and so intense, I don't know why people would want to join your religious movement or religious philosophy or political philosophy if you're such an all or nothing communicator, but yet you're not really that well organized because you're on here having random debates in the afternoon with, I mean, I know he's recording. You can hear it in the background that he's actually recording what he's doing. So he's at least creating. But what blows my mind is that people will come here for years and never create anything, and like they're the bigger suckers. I mean, Roivas works in the recording industry. He's a musician. I mean, this is technically sound, creation on this app, and we are the instruments.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Well, there are, I call them like, you're old enough Republicans to remember the Whack Pack on Howard Stern.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are all the Whack Packers. Midas and all the different, Matt Adams and John Lee.
I just look at them like, clowns pouring out of a clown car, right? Oh, and Tim, you're one of my favorite people on Clubhouse, and so I say this with all love. From one person who is the same as you to another. A couple weeks ago, you pointed out that I am not one known to be patient, and I own that. It's true. You are completely right in every way, and I have been observing you, and I just wanted to point out that you are no paragon of patience yourself.
Very well taken, Steve. I'll take your criticism.
I just pointing the mirror that you pointed at me is all I'm doing.
But you got to understand, patience is directly relational to whether or not you're intentionally creating a recording. Because if you're recording somebody playing the fool and being, insane and ridiculous and neurotic, like you're there for that purpose, to let that person speak. So that's why I say, if like you can't let a neurotic person speak, it's probably because you're not recording it.
Dude, you touch on like solipsism
I see.
and self-effacing comedy is gone from them because it's touching too close to suicidal ideation. Like the id death, like God died. It's like, oh, Voltaire took it a step further. He's like, I killed God, right? That kind of language is like enough to trip someone. Simple little flips like that. I don't know. That's what you were like talking about. Why they can't engage with comedy, or why they're. That's why. It's just fear, social fear, pressure, and suicidal ideation. It comes from solipsistic dread. Like nothing matters except me.
I mean, I've heard Christian preachers that logically make sense to me, but they don't have the attitude or demeanor of your typical, somebody like Midas. Like Midas is a communication off-putting person. But you could listen to many Christian preachers where you'd say, yeah, okay, that sounds all nice and positive, and it makes sense. It's, linguistically correct and logical, and it's historical, and it ties into all the former myths and astrological type of things. I mean, isn't it just a large language data set we're trying to share with each other, but we just have these short conversations and there's no actual glossary being communicated? So it's like this app is a very dysfunctional, hyper-social activity, which people feast on neuroticism. When you hear somebody who is, perhaps special or touched with autism, I don't know. Life is cruel, and a lot of times I do just view us as like baboons or apes, and I don't know. It's I don't know if you've ever intentionally hurt somebody in your life, But if you do intentionally hurt somebody and you're able to actually reflect and understand the lack of wisdom or why you did that, it's really because you're stupid. So, I mean, because when you cause harm to somebody else, you're causing harm to yourself, and it's a waste of your time. So, anyways, I'm just saying that this app and this atheist theist debate, I love it. It's one of my favorite topics. But all roasts are funny. I don't think the topic actually matters. I just think it's the roast, which really brings the community together, and it has to do with catharsis, um, and dopamine creation. And what's funny is it can be cringe or it can be negative, but it still ends up being somehow a positive event. But at the detriment of people's feelings. If it's a good roast. Because a good roast hits at the core of self. Like if you watch the Donald Trump roast or Snoop Dogg roasts, like it really gets personal. But it's all in the performative art that makes it a transformative experience. Because people know it's comedy.
Yeah, Honey Badger.
I say this.
He'll say, he kind of likens it to like a gladiator ring. Like we're like Greco-Romans. Let's all get in the ring and spar here today. And sometimes you're sparring against the guy with the trident and the net, and sometimes you're sparring with the guy with the mace. And the other times with the guy with an axe. And the other times with a sword. It's just kind of like you're still sort of measuring yourself up to these people. T, did you get your thing published?
You talking about my game?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Steam, and it's one part of 13, and I'm working. I had to chase the money for a minute. You know how that goes, right? And so I'm building what is actually going to be an open source project, which is something that somebody needed. And it's good for a lot of money. I'm using AI to do it. I've got 2 bots running. They just write code full time, and I just sit here and with them. I've generated about 300,000 lines of code so far, and it's going to be a open source web directory built on modern frameworks, Next.js, and focused on AI integration for things like approval of directory listings, from submissions, going out and finding submissions on, and stuff like that. And the thing is that right now there's not any good open source niches that fill the void. And so I've just got to spend like the next 2 or 3 weeks just whipping these bots before I get back to finishing the game. But I was about halfway through the second part, which was the trolley game, and I had generated about 120 assets using Midjourney that looked really great for it. So I'm really excited to get back to it at some point here. It's a long-term thing, but the first part is up and working on Steam even as we speak. So if you Discord me, I'll definitely send you a beta key.
Are you what's your Discord?
Oh, let me find it here.
I mean, what do you think about people that have never even had the God debate in their entire lives? I mean, are they just that stupid? Or, because I bet you a lot of people go through the whole lives and never even have a conversation about God or nature or reality or consciousness.
Yeah. Well, I suppose, and an interesting thing is, well, you mean like people who literally aren't like God believers at all, or would you also include people that just grew up believing in a God but aren't like interested in the topic really?
Yeah, people who are just completely not interested in the topic.
I think that you find a lot of that. I think you find a lot of that, especially in countries where like it's like 90% one religion, where you should sort of like you go to Italy, like you're just Catholic, right? But nobody gives a shit, right? You could just be technically Catholic, but nobody cares. You don't go to church. You don't talk about it. Nobody's as long as you don't tell everybody you're not Catholic, you're fine, kind of thing, you know?
I put it in the chat there, Tim.
I mean, that's like saying people in an ethno state no longer, educate themselves or spend time communicating things about God or religion. It's like if you lived in Israel, everybody's kosher because technically everything's kosher. Like all the food and everything. So, but you go outside of Israel and everything has to be certified kosher. So I'm just saying that it's a lot easier hidden maybe because like what you just said, I would consider the Vatican like an ethno state.
Yes. That's a good way to put it. I lived in Peru for a while back when I was younger, and that's 90. When I lived there, it was probably.
Let me just say right off the bat, I'm not human until I have my coffee.
Maybe a little bit less, but just nobody was not, technically.
Do not talk to him until he's had his morning coffee. That's all I'm gonna say.
So I'm gonna need
Don't want to talk to him.
Catholic in a way that maybe a Jew would be a Jew.
Should we call back and ask how many people she slept with?
Yeah.
I want you to jump up and down.
Okay. I actually really enjoy.
Hey, how's it going?
Jews are fun to talk to.
And Fart's going to use the drops of us to continue the show.
Because they can be completely atheistic, but also
I smoked some weed and So you've been hanging out at the club lately?
Yeah, I go to the club.
Did you? Well, you did go to a club recently, though, didn't you?
Oh shit. Oh, my glasses were on my ass.
What is it that you're looking for? Hi, my name's Nancy. How are you today? Good. I was calling to see if you have underwear that has a lot of coverage in the front.
A 500,000 lines of code in
What
like a coder making that to
Probably maybe extra large or double XL, but just because I don't see anything on the streets for Bush.
So my arm was bit off when I was.
So the Beastie Boys were in town.
About 120 assets using Midjourney that looked really great for it. So I'm really excited to get back to it at some point here.
with the mace, the other times with the guy with an axe, the other times with the sword. It's just kind of like, hey,
I say this with all love.
I meant to ask you about that because it's going to count against the people who were saying that, and that actually intrigued me a lot. But it seems to me that
I mentioned, I had good
level of proficiency
from my friend
through AI just really means the demise of actual human code.
and then I give them to people, and some people would buy them.
Try to sell someone's house.
The only thing that's stopping me from just implementing my entire process is I'm just too busy running my entire process to get this job done. But once the job is done, there's nothing that's stopping me from just automating me, the guy who just sits here and whips the bots, right? And then at that point, right, it's the type of thing that really does do what you want it to do, which is that you give it an idea. And what it does is it generates the specifications, and then from those specifications it generates the unit tests, and from those unit tests it generates the code, right? And all along the way it just keeps on breaking down the unit test into more specifications for more code to generate, and it uses GitHub to track all the issues, to do PRs, and then the bots do code reviews on the PRs against each other. They implement each other's suggestions, and it's the type of thing where the collaboration of the AIs really does improve the code base, like at a rapid rate.
You typically engage with Quranists or Sunnis.
With
I'm
3,000
from a very minority.
if you have Aaron whips the bond, right? And then 24 hours later, you have all the tests fixed. Type of thing, right?
And just to help you put it in perspective, if you were to task, let's say you were presented with that same problem with the needed fixes, right? And you asked human coders to do that. How long would it take human coders to get that fixed?
A month.
You want to pay autonomous people.
Type of thing.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah, no, there actually is a very
we're talking about.
there's actually like a total to figure out
Clubhouse. It's not just pennies on the dollar. It's fractions of a fraction of a fraction of a penny on the dollar when compared to an $80,000, $100,000, $120,000 coder. We're not even talking about the $240,000 coder that I that's got to sit there and work on
120 aspects using
Let me ask you a question, Bill. So let's take that out to the future more. Like right now, there's software companies, right? Let's say some software company, and they're like, we want to penetrate the point of service industry, and we want to have a new point of service, cash register and inventory, blah blah blah, right? Right now, there's like this company, and they kind of have their proprietary stuff, and they write their code, and they do all that, et cetera, et cetera. In the future, those companies aren't even going to be around, right? Because there'll just be one somewhere. Anybody could just go and just say, I need a this, and you can have it in 2 seconds, right? Like 20 years down the line.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The AI is just
they'll start saying you're a Hamas supporter. It's like insane. Like why say that to people? I don't understand.
Code base, and it'll be
not saying
right and ready to go. Right, that's where we're headed. Right now, you gotta sit here and whip the AIs and tell them, follow the process, which is generate the spec first, do all your thinking up front, write all that down, then do a new context window with the spec, write the test. Then do a new context window with the test, write the code. Then do a new context window, review the PR, review the code that just got written and make suggestions. Then take the suggestions to a new context window and say, implement these suggestions, right? And it's one of those things where that's an automatable process. And so in 3 or 4 years from now, that process is going to be completely automated.
Wow. And then that's what I'm saying, 3 or 4 years, but now moving forward 20 years, right? That's just like mind blowing, right?
Yeah, that's the diffuse between right and ready to go, right? That's where we're headed right now with it, the first time, right? You don't have to sit there and go through the iterative process anymore because I'm working them like you would a team of Scrum junior developers, right? I'm working them through a Scrum-like process, a Kanban-like process, and then forcing them to follow a script. But in 20 years from now, it will just diffuse the entire code base for shot, right?
That's freaking insane. What's up, Usama? How you doing?
Hello, guys.
Do you ever find software to be kind of annoying? Meaning, like, it's an essential thing, but it's one of those things where it's like sometimes just drawing a picture and even using paper is essentially the same thing.
You guys know Darkesh? I think his name like that. An Indian guy who made podcasts, usually about AI things. With a beard.
I'm not familiar with him now.
Oh, I was just watching an episode.
You're playing stupid with me, man. How do I test for God inside of that test tube?
Listen, I already told you empirically.
Yeah, so what test would I run that would demonstrate?
Man, if you're looking for God, I believe that you can find him and come up with a way of detecting him in the universe. I believe in it.
Okay, how do I do that?
Look, I don't know. I'm not looking for God.
You don't know. So you are saying that we can do something that you don't know we can do, even though you're saying that...
Yeah, I don't know how to make a cell phone, but I'm using one.
kind of annoying, meaning like...
Well, I don't, so you're very much more special than I am.
But it's understood is what I'm saying. It's understood how to make yourself.
Yes, it is, but I don't understand it.
Okay, that doesn't matter.
Then why are you talking smack on me?
I'm not. I haven't done that a single time.
Yeah, you're like, oh, you don't know how to experiment for God in a test tube? Like, what the fuck is this, man?
That's not what I said, and
you had a problem with the word cambium for like 5 fucking minutes, bro.
And if you want me to smack talk, I can do it way better.
Oh no, you've been screaming quiet enough, sir. You've been screaming at the top of your fucking lungs.
I have not been screaming, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna talk more quietly too, so it
Because
sounds
it's
like I'm
better
saying.
if it's quiet, right?
Yeah,
because the words mean.
Excuse me, is this the Longmont Potion Castle prank call podcast?
Yes, it is. Welcome. How are you, comedy?
Hi, Dr. Donald.
The Republican just showed up to it like 5 seconds ago. I can't invite you up. If you just want on a mic, my club deck is on.
Yeah, Donald, I'm gonna follow your lead and talk real quietly so people think I'm sane.
Because you think that the volume of the voice of the words makes the words mean different.
Well, why did you elevate your voice so much if you don't think it makes a difference, motherfucker?
Well, because you were trying to speak on top of me, and that was rude.
Yeah, I apologize, and you were scaring me with that loud voice. It was very aggressive.
Donald, you're like the opposite of a prank caller.
Or voices. You should be scared about weapons. That's what you should.
Have you ever seen public access television where people call in and prank the show?
Sorry, comedy, what?
Have you ever seen public access TV where people prank the show?
Yeah, Ash, welcome to the room. Thank you for coming by.
Donald, you're a dumbass. You welcoming me?
Yeah, always. I like to welcome people to my room.
Yeah, then this ain't. What's the conversation right now? What's going on?
I'm trying to get a demonstration that God exists, or a definition of what a God is. What is God is the like. I like to talk to theists about God. So if you want to talk to me about God and you believe in God, I'd love to have a conversation with you.
Yeah. What's your criteria for proving God?
Well, I mean, what is your definition of the word prove?
Evidence, I would say.
I don't accept. I mean, I don't only limit it to evidence. I would like a demonstration. So I don't believe anything without a demonstration. The only things that I believe I can demonstrate, and everything that I believe I can demonstrate. So I won't believe in this God thing until I can demonstrate the God thing is even possible, which has never been done. It depends on which God. But for the most
whichever
part,
one you're thinking about.
But yeah, for the most part, it's like a creator God, and nothing's ever been created. So that's the contradiction.
Oh, okay. So you just think everything comes from nothing. Okay.
Except, no.
Is this the Longmont Potion Castle prank call podcast that I've been seeing on public access TV, Donald?
No. So I don't believe that everything came from nothing. I don't think nothing ever existed. I accept that the universe is eternal. All evidence points to the universe being eternal. All evidence points to
infinite too, or just eternal?
Being eternal, quantum fields being eternal. All evidence points to energy being eternal, whether it's a substance or not.
Is this the Is this the Longmont Potion Castle psychedelic prank call podcast I've been hearing about on public access TV, Dr. Donald?
No, it's not. All evidence points to matter being eternal for the most part, as long as you make sure that it's equivalent to energy and that it can transform.
That's genius. Genius. PhD that's genius.
Actually, I got it from PhDs, so yes it is. Oh. This is not my idea.
But I'm just asking a question. Is this the Longmont Potion Castle prank call TV show that I've seen on public access TV?
No, it is not.
Yeah, so Donald, this is why I asked you the question, what is your criteria for evidence? Because
demonstration.
Everything you said so far is demonstration of the creation of the world, what the evidence points to, and so on and so forth.
That's not what I said.
Hello. What's going on, Phoenix? So what are you really looking for then? Maybe I'm misunderstanding that. So
yeah, my criteria is that if you cannot demonstrate this thing to exist, I do not believe in it. Everything that I believe in because it's been demonstrated.
Okay, let me ask you this.
I'm just gonna keep pranking down.
It's a fact.
Keep doing the Longmont
Do
Potion
we have
Castle.
archaeological evidence?
I'm putting this all on YouTube.
Speak about
as
the
Longmont
kings
Potion
of
Castle.
Israel. For example, the obelisk.
Probably.
Sorry. Is this the Longmont Potion Castle prank call podcast that I've been seeing on public access TV, Dr. Donald?
No, it is not.
But is this a world record podcast?
I don't think so.
So what is it that you guys are asking about and talking about in here?
I would like a demonstration of the God that this person believes in, and he is unwilling to do that. Or unable. You could be unable.
I'm not unwilling. I was trying to get your criteria.
So you're unable.
Because I'm not. Say that again, Donald.
So you're unable.
No, I am able. I am.
Okay, so demonstrate the God that you believe in.
I was trying to really narrow it down so I know what.
Narrow it down to demonstration.
Right, but demonstrate what? What do you want to demonstrate?
The Longmont Potion Castle podcast is about demonstration.
So demonstration means show to exist. All you have to do is show this thing to exist. Dad, thank you for coming on stage. I appreciate it.
Right, ugly ass nigga, stop kicking me from your rooms, you ugly ass nigga.
I don't kick people from my rooms. Please don't
I'm not
use that
talking to
word.
you, I'm talking to Benji.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I was asking.
That is an ugly ass nigga, for sure.
I hate that word.
Yeah, me too.
Which word?
Dr. Phoenix, you can't use the N-word on the Longmont Potion Castle podcast. That's not appropriate, Dr. Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm just.
What about nerd? Donald is a nerd.
Yes, I'm a nerd. I'm fine with being a nerd.
Sure.
That's an amazing
Honestly, bro, we can't really have a conversation.
That's
like
not allowed to say a nerd. That seems racist to white people.
Ow.
Is this the Longmont Potion Castle prank call podcast that I've been seeing on public access TV, Donald?
No. So I don't believe that everything came from nothing. I don't think nothing ever existed. I accept.
I'm telling you, Zenobity, this is gonna be funny. I'm gonna put out like 100 Longmont Potion Castle prank call videos, and people will think that like it's Longmont Potion. They'll think it's him, but it's just Clown House people, because people kind of sound like that, you know, myself included. But everybody kind of sounds like Longmont Potion Castle. Isn't that true? A lot of people sound like Longmont Potion Castle.
Yeah, he has a very normal sort of voice.
It's the sound effects that make it fun, because it makes it psychedelic and trippy.
You're welcome to come on stage, sister.
Dude, you were losing your mind. Once I show you that guy, you were losing your fucking mind.
No, I mean, I recognize it because it's Clown House. It's prank calls, you know? Like, it's very smart. And I think the term, it's almost like surrealism, because the absurdist comedy just shows you how crazy people are in terms of communication. Like, it's so funny, dude. People are their own worst enemies. It's crazy. Hi, Dr. Julian.
Hey, Edmund.
How are you doing? It's good to see you again. It's so good to see you this afternoon.
Yeah, good to see you too. Always a pleasure. But yeah, J-Lo, I just wanted to say as well, like literally, like, I was, like, trapped in the library because there were, like, protesters outside, like
Were they threatening to hurt you?
entrance
Like,
and
were they
exit.
threatening to come in and hurt everybody?
No, they just, like, blocked the entrance for whatever reason. We were just, like, trapped, and I was just like, oh my god, like, what if a fire, like, broke out, and, like, I'd be fucking dead. What the fuck?
So nobody could go to class, huh?
It was a library, so that was, like, kind of different, but, you know, it's still pretty bad, because, you know, like, you can't, like, trap people in the building. Like, that's fucked up.
Yeah, and it's also a big fire hazard. Right, Tom?
Yeah, exactly.
Comedy. Comedy silent.
Do you know who Longmont Potion Castle is?
Who?
Longmont Potion Castle.
No.
He's like a prank caller from the 80s that would prank people, and then he, created records and, he's like a prank caller, like the Jerky Boys. And I don't know, it's just Clubhouse is kind of funny because it's a little bit like, a prank call podcast. That's why.
Did you ever go into the room here that has that?
Yeah, those aren't funny. I think
No.
pranking
They're actually terrible.
Yeah, pranking people here on Clown House is funny. Getting people all upset and screaming and hooting. Putting them into road rage frame and upsetting their emotions. Like, that's essentially what Longmont Potion Castle did, where he would repeatedly call people and drive them crazy. So, a lot of these.
Give me an example, like of what? Like what was? Because I probably know him if you tell me what his work was. Like
He would just call somebody, say, "Hey, I'm your new neighbor. I was wondering if you have any clothes I could have." And he would just keep calling them and asking people that. Like, it's just very funny. But he's, I was listening to a podcast with him today talking about all his recordings, and it's interesting, because they're very funny. Because it's basically like, people say on this app, crash out, this person's crashing out. Like, it's a prank call show about getting people to crash out.
Have you seen, I don't know if this is your humor, but Vlad on Instagram?
Yeah.
Vlad Nicola official.
Super funny.
So funny, right?
Vlad TV. I don't see these things, like, you have your moments, I mean, I don't know, like they have their fans, but I create stuff now. I very rarely even consume all these other influencers now. I'm just like sitting here constantly creating.
J-Lo, do you know Zach Mars?
Is he on Instagram?
Yeah, I can link his profile.
Wait, I can look it up 1 second. Z-A-K?
Z-A-C-H M-A-R-G-S.
I don't think I know him. Oh yeah, I'm following him. Who is he? Which one is he? Let's see. Yeah, why is he funny? I follow him, so he must be. I must like his humor. Oh yeah. I know who he is. Yes.
Yeah, he's really funny.
You know who's really funny is Donald Trump. That guy is funny.
The one on Clubhouse?
No, our president. He's got a great sense of humor. He loves to. He loves to laugh and joke. People don't think of him as a comedian, but like, because everybody's so uptight, like, it's just, even the president has to have a good laugh, and
you know who I think is really funny, Edmund? Luigi Mangione, when he blew Brian Thompson's head off.
You think that was funny? I don't understand.
Extremely funny.
Why?
You do?
Why is that funny?
Why is it not funny?
But what's funny about it, Julian?
I think it's funny.
So you think it's funny that Luigi Mangione murdered a guy in the streets of New York City? An innocent man?
Allegedly.
What is this, like a prank call show? You're detached from reality?
I guess.
Is this the Longmont Potion Castle podcast? Where you say absurdist things like, I think it's funny that somebody murdered an innocent person, and then you want to see how people respond to the prank call? Is that what you're doing, Dr. Julian?
No, I'm just sharing my opinion.
Well, it sounds like a prank call show to me. Are you sure this isn't the Longmont Potion Castle podcast?
No, it's Deny, Defend, Depose podcast.
ask him, listen, don't you want peace with the Arabs as if the roadblocks for peace is the construction of Jewish neighborhoods in East Jerusalem? You know what he said?
Yeah, Chris, why don't you invite Julian up and tell him what you think about his sentiments about murdering innocent executives? Maybe you two could have a little micro debate where I create some Longmont Potion Castle podcast content, because Julian's so smart. Not very smart, Julian.
I think it's funny.
So you think it's funny that Luigi Mangione murdered a guy in the streets of New York City? An innocent man?
Allegedly.
What is this, like a prank call show? You're detached from reality?
I guess.
Is this the Longmont Potion Castle podcast? Where you say absurdist things like, I think it's funny that somebody murdered an innocent person, and then you want to see how people respond to the prank call? Is that what you're doing, Dr. Julian? Thanks, Dr. Julian, for being a part of this podcast.
No, I'm just sharing my opinion.
Well, it sounds like a prank call show, man. See, Chris, like, everybody's going to think this is, Longmont Potion Castle. Like, everybody sounds like... Longmont Potion Castle is technically Pepe. That's what's happening here. He's evergreen. Everybody sounds like him. People here on Clown House is funny, getting people all upset and screaming and hooting, putting them into road rage frame and, upsetting their emotions. Like, that's essentially what Longmont Potion Castle did, where he would repeatedly call people and drive them crazy. So, a lot of
like, give me an example, like of what? Like, what was, because I probably know him if you tell me what his work was. Like,
he would just call somebody, say, hey, I'm your new neighbor, I was wondering if you have any clothes I could have. And he would just keep calling them and asking people that. Like, it's just very funny, but he's, I was listening to a podcast with him today talking about all his recordings, and it's interesting, because they're very funny, because it's basically like, people say on this app, crash out, this person's crashing out. Like, it's a prank call show about getting people to crash out. People here on Clown House is funny. What do you think, Dr. Julian, of the Longmont Potion Castle podcast so far?
Love it. I never knew I sounded that sexy.
Really?
Absolutely. What's up, Doge?
Yo, what up, Hussein? You're on the Longmont Potion Castle podcast.
Yeah, man. I've seen it, man. How are you doing, man? You good?
I'm good. I'm here with Norman, Zenamini, and Julian, and Halit. How are you, Dr. Hussein?
I haven't, it's just me and you here, but they might be are you in another platform, or?
Mm-hmm. Multiple rooms. I got 4 Clown House rooms open.
But I don't see them.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, welcome to the Longmont Potion Castle podcast.
It's all fine, man. How you doing, Doge, man? You good?
Yeah.
That loud. Damn. One of the reasons.
What was that, Dr. Hussein?
Oh, shit, man. You good, though?
Are you good? Is that what you're projecting? Or is that what you're asking right now?
I'm good, man. I'm just saying what's up.
Cool. Well, welcome back.
Saying what's up.
What's up? Welcome back to the Longmont Potion Castle podcast, where we prank call people here on Clown House and make recordings for YouTube as an homage to the world famous prank call absurdist artist Longmont Potion Castle. Welcome to the show, Dr. Hussein. Julian, so tell us how much you love Mangione. Hello?
Well, I don't... Oh my god, that echo.
Is it me or is it you?
Yeah, could you fix that, please?
Oh,
Okay,
my bad. Let me just mute up.
No problem. But, I guess I think that the current trial going on is pretty unfair. His team isn't able to see any evidence, so they had to watch an HBO
Welcome back.
special.
What's up? Welcome back to the Longmont Potion Castle podcast, where we prank call people here on Clown House and
mark on the punch justice system, and recently he was sold out to have the death penalty, which just shows that justice in this country is extremely unfair. We're seeing another injustice, the likes of the Rosenbergs. So, yeah, it's just insane that this young guy with the life ahead of him is being put through this unfair trial to make a martyr out of him.
If you could, exchange your life for his so he could be free, do you think you'd be willing to sacrifice your life so Mangione could be free? Again, this is the Longmont Potion Castle podcast, Dr. Julian. Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't really understand that question.
Would you sacrifice yourself for him so he wouldn't have to die in a capital punishment event? Would you do a switch? Would you save his life for yours?
Well, that's a loaded question.
So you're not a true believer at the end of the day, as you like to say. Mangione's a guilty man, but you're not willing to sacrifice your life for him.
He's not guilty. He hasn't been found guilty.
Right, but, allegedly.
He pled not guilty.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Cool.
Exchange your life for his so he could be free. Do you think he'd be willing to sacrifice your life so Mangione could be free? Again, this is the Longmont Potion Castle podcast, Dr. Julian. Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't really understand that question.
Would you sacrifice yourself for him so he wouldn't have to die in a capital punishment event? Would you do a switch? Would you save his life for yours?
Well, that's a loaded question.
Thanks for participating, Dr. Julian. I think these Longmont Potion Castle videos are going to do great. You're just the kind of guy we're looking for. This is great comedy.
I'm glad I could be content.
The Longmont Potion Castle Comedy Podcast. Chris, what do you think about this new rebrand to Longmont Potion Castle?
Anyway, free Luigi.
Yeah. What do you think young people... Let me start the short again. Hold on a second. It's only 60 seconds long. Welcome back to the Longmont Potion Castle Prank Show podcast. We have Dr. Julian here, a free Mangioneist. Dr. Julian, what do you want to tell all the supporters of Luigi Mangione?
Anyway, fuck you, free Luigi.
Free Luigi. What does that mean to you? How does it make you feel?
I don't know, they just need to free my baby daddy.
So Luigi Mangione is your baby daddy, and you want him freed. Dr. Julian?
Yes.
Interesting. Well, thanks for coming on the Longmont Potion Castle podcast. How would you describe yourself, Dr. Julian?
I don't know. How would you describe me? I'm curious.
Welcome back to the Longmont Potion Castle Prank Show podcast. We have Dr. Julian here, a free Mangioneist. Dr. Julian, what do you want to tell all the supporters of Luigi Mangione?
Anyway, fuck you, free Luigi.
Free Luigi. What does that mean to you? How does it make you feel?
I don't know, they just need to free my baby daddy.
So Luigi Mangione is your baby daddy, and you want him freed. Dr. Julian?
Yes.
Interesting. Well, thanks for coming on the Longmont Potion Castle podcast. How would you describe yourself, Dr. Julian?
I don't know. How would you describe me?
Welcome back to the Longmont Potion Castle Prank Show podcast. We have Dr. Julian here, a free Mangionist. Dr. Julian, what do you want to tell all the supporters of Luigi Mangione?
This is so stupid that I think people will like wonder like, what is all this about? I'm not saying you're stupid.
So you don't think it's a miscarriage of justice that a potentially innocent man is being arraigned by the justice system?
No. I think he's probably the prime suspect. But this is the thing about the law, man. It's a big business. He's going to have to go through a big trial. Do you know how much his parents are going to have to pay for all this? Welcome back to the Longmont Potion Castle podcast, where we're talking to Dr. Julian about Luigi Mangione and how much he loves him and how he thinks this is a miscarriage of justice, that Mangione didn't murder the United Healthcare executive. Dr. Julian, tell us about your love affair with Dr. Mangione.
Oh, wow.
So Julian is a young, low IQ, dumb person who is completely brainwashed, misinformed.
Not low IQ, dumb person.
Yeah, you're on the Longmont Potion Castle podcast, where we prank call people here on Clown House. This is the 2025 V2 version of Longmont Potion Castle. You are...
Hey, Longmont Potion Castle audience.
You're
Free Luigi.
This is the dinner for schmucks. We invited a free Luigi Mangione LGBTQ person.
Not LGBTQ.
Really? Could surprise me.
Anyway, I'm 8 inches in dick for any ladies in the audience.
The Longmont Potion Castle shit is really funny. I feel like I should play a little bit. Let me do the best of Longmont Potion Castle real quick. I gotta go to the bathroom. Longmont Potion Castle podcast, please.
Longmont Potion Castle podcast, please.
Hello? Hi. This is Russo from Drug Dumpling.
We can come up with something. It'll take 5 minutes to go get beers and then come back, and then you'll hear.
I'm so tired. I'm gonna get beers. Hold on, I'm getting a call from Los Angeles.
Oh my God, maybe it's a Hollywood producer.
It might be.
Hello?
Hi, yes, Patrick.
Yeah?
What's going on? Hey, yeah, my name's Noel. Everybody calls me Doogie, though.
Doogie?
And, yeah, Doogie, yeah. I got your number from Big Red, our other neighbor. How you doing today, man?
Doing good.
Oh, super. Super. Well, hey, I know you're probably busy. Just real quick, I'm new to the neighborhood. I moved in across the street, and Big Red was saying he might be able to help me with some tinting. I got an 18-wheeler. Tint the windows in there. I know how to do it and everything. Maybe if you could just give me a hand, or just for some time, maybe next couple days, or something like that.
All right, you chipmunks. Yeah. I get. Is this LPC?
Okay, Theodore?
no, Doogie.
Doogie?
Or Noel.
Or Noel? This is an LPC.
Who the fuck is LPC? Get off the phone.
Okay, I'll get off the phone. He had the voice mod on.
Yeah, you think it's hard to do that?
I don't
Wait,
know.
guys, I just got a call from Spotify.
Calling back.
Oh my god. Okay, pick up.
Okay. Shut up.
Oh, dude.
Hello? I was told to get off the phone.
I apologize about that.
I got told to get off the phone. What's going on?
Oh, no, yeah, I was just trying to reach Patrick. Is this Patrick up there, or?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I travel with this 30-year-old macaw bird. He goes everywhere with me, never leaves the 18-wheeler, and I was hoping to maybe put like some louvers in the windows on his area, you know? Maybe like a visor, and I could just use a hand with it.
Yeah, I could help out.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'll let you pick the font and everything. I was hoping to make it say Nicodemus. That's his name, you know? Like in maybe an old English style lettering, like a tattoo almost, you know? Something like that would be sweet. Yeah. I should warn you though. Vika, that's what I call him. He will talk like wild. He'll talk to you. He'll talk like wow. He'll communicate great.
This guy's gotta be joking.
Totally full
of
crap.
This guy talks fucking crazy. Who the fuck is this? You on the phone with an animal?
Hello?
If you play like a doo-wop station on the radio, that bird will sing like wow. Like if you play,
what is he doing? What is this bullshit? Oh my god, is that T-Pain?
From Canada. So anyway, would you want to go with a nanocarbon tint on there? What do you think? Or maybe
I could do a nanocarbon tint.
Perfect. That's what I was thinking. I always see like a connection is on the pigment, you know? Maybe with the ceramic infused variant. Like Big Red had our neighbor here. He's got the same thing. How much butter do you think you put in?
How much butter?
How much butter?
Sputter?
Yeah,
Person, I don't know
Sputter's
giving him the time of day.
I know, it's probably a scam call.
I like copper. I like copper, so maybe some copper sputtering.
Copper sputtering. I got 2 tons of copper sputtering.
What the hell what is Patrick even
well, I'm in the right place. Heck of a deal. I could tell you right here. Oh, man. As long as we achieve glare reduction. Oh, and that reminds me.
This guy's office
Patrick,
worker.
what would be the absorbance reflectance ratio, you think, approximately? No, the reason I ask is because I'd love to have a good reading on the BTU meter. You know, once I get that thing, it's got to be right. It's got a bird inside. You know what I'm saying? Oh, boy.
Could you repeat all that?
Oh, yeah, just across the board. Because refraction is key, of course, across the board. I don't have one of those fancy spectrophotometers, and I trust whatever we come up with will give us the absorption we need. Oh, quick question. That reminds me, do you think we could do like a
reflective film to get rid of the glare?
Well, because
Welcome back. What's up? Welcome back to the Longmount Potion Castle podcast, where we prank call people here on Clown House and make recordings for YouTube as an homage to the world famous prank call absurdist artist Longmount Potion Castle. Welcome to the show, Dr. Hussein. Julian.
These videos they're not, see, YouTube caps it, but most of these videos will get 400 views, but I think it's funny. This Luigi Mangione one's already at 400 views, which is wild. Jeez.
The plans, and I really introduced
introduce him to the black community.
The Republican comedy YouTube channel is doing pretty good. It looks good too. It's got all this pepper stuff. But see, then I mix in the Tanya.
Beyond thought, how shall we understand the words of Elijah? No thoughts can grasp you. You? When you think a thought, you are greater than the thought. But when that thought is of Torah, which is rooted in God, the thought is greater than you. And you become absorbed into the thought, and in this way you and God are one. This is a glorious union, unlike any other.